Hey, did you know even billionaires sometimes want to disappear? Not into yachts or private jets, but into the darkness, when the weight becomes too much to carry. This is one of those nights. The sky above Dubai was a velvet sheet pierced with gold. The lights of the Burj Khalifa shimmered like a dream, but on the Sheikh Zayed Bridge, one man didn't notice the view. He was too close to the edge. Khalid al-Mansour, heir to the most powerful oil empire in the Middle East, stood frozen at the railing. His bespoke Tom Ford suit fit him like armor, but inside he was already shattered. He gripped the steel bar so tightly his knuckles turned pale. His usually sharp brown eyes looked hollow now, reflecting nothing but grief. The water below shimmered like liquid night. It had been 12 days since Tariq's funeral. Tariq, his younger brother, his shadow, his soulmate, was dead. A Bugatti, a cliff, a decision Khalid couldn't undo. Everyone blamed Khalid, the tabloids, the royal family. Even his own mother hadn't looked him in the eye at the funeral. You were supposed to protect him, her silence screamed. He'd told Tariq to grow up, to take life seriously. That night, they fought. The last words Khalid ever said to him were, "If you keep living like you're immortal, you'll die like a fool." And Tariq did. So now, Khalid stood where many came for the view. But he wasn't there to look. He was there to fall. He whispered in Arabic, "Forgive me." He closed his eyes. Then, "Hey! Hey you! Don't!" A voice, high-pitched. American. Khalid blinked, startled. He turned his head. Running toward him in wedge sandals and a wrinkled, sky-blue dress was a young woman, platinum blonde hair in a loose bun, skin pale and flushed from the run, baby-faced, probably in her 20s, and holding a silver tray with a half-empty coffee cup. "You don't just get to do that!" she panted, slowing down as she reached him. "Whatever it is you're thinking, it's not the answer, okay?" He stared at her, not moving. She looked up at him, out of breath. "Okay, wow, you're tall and terrifying, but I'm not leaving." He blinked again. "You speak English?" she asked, softer now. "You don't have to answer. Just nod, blink twice, anything." He said nothing. She sighed, brushing hair from her face. "Great. Either you're ignoring me, or you don't understand a word. Or both." He didn't know what made him step down from the rail. Maybe it was the absurdity. Maybe the way her cheeks puffed when she caught her breath. Or how she looked at him, not like he was royalty, not like a ghost, but like a person. She held the tray like a shield. "I work at the marina. Was closing up when I saw you up here looking like a tragic James Bond." Khalid tilted his head. "James? Bond?" Her eyes lit up. "You do speak." He let out a short breath, halfway between a sigh and a laugh. His voice was deep, hoarse. "Little. Well, little is enough." She stepped closer, still holding the tray. "I don't know what happened, but no one climbs that high just for the view." A long silence stretched between them. She broke it. "I'm Emily, by the way. Emily Carter. And you are?" He hesitated. He stopped himself. "Ali," she smiled. "Nice to meet you, Ali. Mind if I stay a minute?" He looked away. "It's dangerous." "You looked pretty dangerous yourself up there," she shrugged. "Guess we're even." And just like that, he let her sit beside him on the edge of the bridge. No guards, no titles, just two strangers in the city of gold. He didn't know it yet, but that moment, her voice, her tray, her baby-faced stubbornness, would be the start of everything. For a moment, neither of them said a word. The city kept moving around them. Cars whooshed below, the lights of yachts twinkled like stars on the water, and the towering skyline loomed behind them like a silent audience. Emily balanced the tray on her lap. "So, Ali, dramatic evening, huh?" He glanced sideways. "Not normal night." "No kidding," she muttered, brushing sand off her ankle. "You almost went full Romeo." he frowned. Romeo? Never mind, she smiled. Bad metaphor. Khalid looked at her again, this time slower. Her nose crinkled when she smiled. There was a smudge of coffee foam on her forearm. She looked like she didn't belong in Dubai, and yet, somehow, she did. You're not from here? He asked. Chicago, she nodded proudly. Go Bulls, he blinked. She chuckled. Right, sorry. American sports. He shifted, his voice quieter. Why, here, Emily sighed, leaning back on her hands. I needed a break from the cold. And college loans. So I booked a one-way ticket, landed a job at a yacht bar, then started cleaning boats on weekends. Glamorous, I know. Khalid tilted his head. You clean boats? Super yachts, actually, she said, flipping her ponytail like it made her royal. So technically, I clean the dreams of the filthy rich. A small laugh escaped him before he could stop it. She noticed and smiled. That was a laugh, wasn't it? She teased. Look at that. Progress. He lowered his eyes. You funny. And you're mysterious. She leaned in a little. What were you doing up there? Khalid hesitated. The truth pressed against his ribs, trying to get out. My brother, he said. He die. 2 weeks. Emily's expression softened instantly. Oh, no. I'm so sorry. Accident, he added. Fast car. He... angry. With me. She tilted her head. You fought before he died? He nodded. And now you think it's your fault? Silence. She reached into her bag, pulled out a slightly melted granola bar, and held it out. First rule of emotional rescue. Eat something. He stared at it like it was alien. Not poisoned, she grinned. Just has nuts. Do you eat nuts? Allergic? He took it wordlessly, opened the wrapper carefully, and took a small bite. There, she said. Now you can't die. You've had a snack. His lips twitched again. You strange. I get that a lot. They sat like that for a while, the night wrapping around them. Emily told him about her life, how her parents divorced when she was 12, how she dropped out of a fancy journalism program because she couldn't afford it, how she always dreamed of traveling but never imagined she'd land in Dubai. Sometimes, she said, I feel like I'm in a movie where I'm not the main character. He looked at her. Tonight, you main. Her breath caught in her throat, surprised by the sincerity in his voice. Khalid stared at the water again. I not remember last time. Someone talk like this. Honest, Emily smiled. Well, I'm not great at faking things. Can't even lie to get a table at a restaurant. He turned to face her more fully. Why you stop me? She paused. I don't know. Just... You looked so alone, like you didn't want to be seen, but you hoped someone would see you anyway. He didn't speak for a long time, then quietly, Maybe... I did. She glanced at her phone. Midnight. I should get going, she said. Early shift tomorrow, but... Wait, he said quickly. Can I... see you again? She looked at him, surprised. You want to? He nodded, slower this time. I think... Yes. Emily stood, brushing off her dress. Well, Allie, you know where I work. Marina Cafe, Pier 3. If you come by tomorrow, I'll make you the worst espresso of your life. He stood too, towering over her but looking almost... shy. She waved, then turned and walked down the bridge. He watched her go, heart beating in a rhythm it hadn't remembered in years. And for the first time in weeks, Khalid didn't feel like falling. The next day, Khalid did something he hadn't done in over a decade. He walked into a public cafe without bodyguards. No tinted SUV, no assistants trailing behind him, no gold-plated watch or embroidered name on his cuff. Just jeans, sunglasses, and a plain white shirt he borrowed from one of his palace drivers. He felt invisible, and somehow, free. Emily didn't notice him at first. She was too busy arguing with a blender behind the counter. Stupid machine, just work for once in your overpriced plastic life. He chuckled under his breath. When she turned and saw him, her face lit up like the morning sun. Ali, you came! Her voice carried across the small cafe. A few tourists turned their heads. He smiled and nodded, lowering his sunglasses. Emily waved him over to a tiny outdoor table. I'm off in 10. You okay to wait? I wait, he said. She turned back to the angry blender. Khalid sat, watching her move. There was a wildness to her, a kind of freedom he'd only seen in movies. She didn't know who he really was, and that made every second with her feel dangerously pure. 10 minutes later, she reappeared with 2 iced drinks and a half-melted brownie. Best table service in Dubai, she announced, setting everything down. And totally illegal, but I like breaking rules. He sipped the drink and immediately grimaced. She laughed. I told you I make terrible espresso. He swallowed hard. Very strong. She took a seat. So, Mr. Mystery Man, any hobbies? Or do you just hang out on bridges and scare waitresses? He smiled. I read, I swim, I like quiet. She leaned in. You're not married, are you? I mean, I know I just met you, but you've got that tragic, hot widower vibe going. He almost choked on his drink. Number not married. Kids? No. Secret double life? He paused just a second too long. Emily raised an eyebrow. That's not a no. He tried to recover. Private person. Fair, she said, taking a bite of brownie. I talk enough for 2 people anyway. He stared at her again, the way she laughed with her whole face, the way she didn't try to impress anyone. She was the opposite of everything he knew. That evening, they walked by the docks. The sun dipped low, painting the water gold. You know, Emily said, swinging her sandals by the straps, you don't act like a tourist. I live near, he offered vaguely. Where? JBR? He hesitated. More outside city. Desert? He nodded. Well, I guess you're a desert guy, she grinned. The moment stretched between them. Then, from across the marina, a camera flashed. A tourist snapping a selfie had accidentally caught Khalid in the corner. He didn't flinch, but a sliver of panic crawled into his chest. Far away, someone recognized the face. A whispered, Is that... But before anything else could happen, he turned to Emily. Walk with me? She looked surprised, but nodded. Sure. They moved quickly, disappearing into the crowd. That night, his phone buzzed for hours. Missed calls, security alerts, tabloid rumors. His assistant even texted, We saw you. Do you need extraction? He didn't answer. Instead, he sent one message. Cancel tomorrow's meetings. All of them. The next morning, Emily found a note taped to her locker at the cafe. Beach? 6 p.m.? A. She smiled. He was full of secrets, but so far none of them scared her. The beach was quiet that evening, a rare pocket of stillness in a city built on noise and gold. Families had gone home, tourists were heading to rooftop lounges, and only the waves remained, soft, steady, honest. Emily sat cross-legged on the sand, her toes buried beneath the surface as she stared out at the horizon. Behind her, the sound of approaching footsteps made her turn. He wasn't dressed like before. This time he wore a long, elegant kandura, crisp white, traditional, regal. Her eyes widened. You clean up nice, Khalid smiled, nervous in a way she hadn't seen before. I wanted to show you truth. She tilted her head. Truth? He sat beside her, not as close as usual. The space between them held tension, invisible, but thick. I lie, he said. Her brows drew together. Okay? My name, not Ali. Emily blinked. You're not Ali? He shook his head. Khalid. Khalid al-Mansour. She waited for the punchline. It didn't come. You mean, like, the Sheikh al-Mansour? She asked slowly. He nodded once. She stared at him. You're kidding. No. Her mind spun. The name was everywhere in Dubai, on buildings, foundations, racing teams, schools. The al-Mansour family was royalty, wealth, legacy, and she'd just shared a brownie with one of them. Called him tragic, hot, laughed at his coffee face. Emily stood abruptly. Okay, wow, so the secret double life was real. I didn't want, he stood too. You see me as that, just me. She folded her arms. You could have told me. I was afraid. Of what? That I'd ask for a yacht? Gold bars? No, he said softly. That you would disappear. She looked away, the wind catching her hair. You think lying protects people? You think hiding who you are is romantic? It's not. It's manipulative. He flinched. I trusted you, she added. I told you everything about me, and you were playing a role. I wasn't playing, he said quickly. Everything I say, I mean. When I'm with you, I feel free, alive, myself. She met his eyes. Then why does this feel like goodbye? Neither of them moved. Somewhere in the distance, a phone buzzed. Khalid reached into his sleeve, glanced at the screen, then shoved the device back without reading. They don't want me to see you again, he said. Court advisors, family, news is watching now. Emily laughed bitterly. Of course they are. I'm the blonde waitress who got too close. You saved me, he said. That night, you saved my life. You think that gives you the right to lie to mine? Silence fell. Then, footsteps. Two men in black suits approached from the dunes, stopping a respectful distance away. Bodyguards. The illusion was over. I didn't want this, Khalid said. I didn't either, Emily whispered. But here we are. He took a step toward her. Come with me. Let me fix it. She shook her head. You can't fix what you broke. Behind them, the bodyguards exchanged glances. One of them cleared his throat. Sir, the media has located her photo. Immigration is requesting her departure. Within 24 hours, Emily's stomach dropped. Khalid's expression changed instantly. Number, tell them to stop. Sir, it's already in motion. I'll stop it myself, he growled. But Emily had already turned away. Don't, she said. Please. Just don't. Her sandals pressed into the sand as she walked off without looking back. Khalid stood there, frozen, heart pounding louder than the ocean. He'd built kingdoms out of oil and power, but he had no idea how to hold on to one girl with coffee on her sleeves and honesty in her smile. Two men in black suits approached from the dunes, stopping a respectful distance away. Bodyguards. The illusion was over. I didn't want this, Khalid said. I didn't either, Emily whispered. But here we are. He took a step toward her. Come with me. Let me fix it. She shook her head. You can't fix what you broke. Behind them, the bodyguards exchanged glances. One of them cleared his throat. Sir, the media has located her photo. Immigration is requesting her departure. Within 24 hours, Emily's stomach dropped. Khalid's expression changed instantly. Number, tell them to stop. Sir, it's already in motion. I'll stop it myself, he growled. But Emily had already turned away. Don't, she said. Please, just don't. Her sandals pressed into the sand as she walked off without looking back. Khalid stood there, frozen, heart pounding louder than the ocean. He'd built kingdoms out of oil and power, but he had no idea how to hold on to one girl with coffee on her sleeves and honesty in her smile. A week later, she was gone. No dramatic send-off, no royal apology, just a one-way flight back to Chicago with a broken heart and a borrowed scarf from the cafe she never returned to. Khalid watched the sky that night, lying alone on the rooftop of his palace, wondering how the richest man in the city could feel like the poorest soul in it. He tried everything, legal appeals, diplomatic pressure, even offered her a position in a charity foundation just to create a legal reason for her return. But nothing worked. She was marked now, scandal adjacent, a foreign disruption, and she never answered his messages. The world moved on, as it always does. But he didn't. He buried himself in work, opened a youth scholarship in his brother's name, donated to mental health initiatives, traveled less, spoke less. Sometimes he'd walk past the bridge where they first met, always at night, always alone. And sometimes he left notes. Folded pieces of paper tucked beneath the railing, right where she'd first grabbed his hand. He never knew if they stayed there, or if the wind carried them away. Until one day, exactly 365 days later, the wind brought her back. Emily Carter stood once again in Dubai, this time not as a waitress or a yacht cleaner, but as a travel host for a rising YouTube channel. A producer had found her blog, loved her dry humor and raw storytelling, and invited her to shoot a Wonders of the Emirates series. She said yes without hesitation. Maybe it was professional instinct, or maybe it was something deeper, a ghost she hadn't put to rest. On the final day of filming, with the skyline glowing like a crown, she walked alone to the Sheikh Zayed Bridge. The wind was warm, soft, familiar. She found the spot immediately. Her feet knew where to stand, and there, tucked under a small bolt on the railing, was a weather-worn slip of paper. She unfolded it slowly. "You were my reason to stay," her fingers trembled. "You came back." The voice behind her was unmistakable, deep, gentle, haunted. She turned slowly. There he stood. No guards, no kandura, no titles. Just Khalid, in a simple shirt, jeans, and worn sneakers. Eyes darker than the sea, but softer than she remembered. Emily didn't speak. Not yet. He stepped closer. "I tried to find you." "I know," she whispered. "I read the headlines. I never stopped thinking about you." She exhaled, her smile uncertain. "I wasn't sure you'd still be here. I wasn't sure I'd still be me." Silence. Then she asked, "Still afraid of heights?" He smiled, slow and sad. "Only when you're not there to catch me." She looked at him, heart pounding. And for the first time in a year, they stood together again. Not as royalty and waitress, not as a secret and a scandal, but as two people who had almost lost everything. This time, neither of them turned away.